Lindsie Chrisley hasn't had kind things to say about her ex-husband following Todd and Julie's guilty verdict. As those who follow Lindsie on her Instagram profile know, she has refused to talk negatively about her husband. They went their separate ways. They would continue to co-parent Jackson. And that was all anyone needed to know. Lindsie, however, is singing a bit of a different tune now. Turns out, she got no support from her ex-husband amid her father and stepmother's legal battles. And this was a huge issue for her. What did Lindsie have to say about her ex-husband, Will Campbell, exactly? During a recent episode of her Coffee Convos podcast, which she hosts with Kaylin Lowry, Lindsie returned from a brief hiatus. She spent a chunk of the episode detailing what was currently going on with her family. Sadly, Lindsie admits that her ex-husband Will took advantage of her family's current legal issues. Lindsie noted that Will had always been very open and flexible if things came up involving their co-parenting schedule. He, however, was shockingly unwilling to budge or alter their custody arrangement when she explained to him that she needed to be in court. Lindsie, however, did clarify there has always been some bad blood between Todd and her ex-husband. So, his unwillingness to accommodate something involving her parents may have not been a total blindside. She explained during her podcast, "These past 2 weeks has been the roughest, most uncertain time that I've ever felt in my life. And with co-parenting schedules, that has been a little bit hard to navigate. And normally Will is very good about if we have something come up and I give all the details or whatever. It's like, it's okay, we'll switch. But in this situation, I definitely feel that there was a little advantage taken. I think that maybe things that have gone on in the past with Will and I, some rockiness with my parents' relationship with Will and, vice versa, his relationship with them, or lack thereof. I think a lot of things kind of came to the forefront over these past 2 weeks. And Will was pretty much unwilling to switch with me, knowing that I needed to be in court and needed to be there with my family. And that was really hard. Things have been pretty rocky between Lindsie and her father for a long time. Lindsie, however, has issued a statement that she was putting her differences with her father aside so she could be there with her family during this difficult time. Does it surprise you that Lindsie's ex wouldn't support her during this difficult time? Do you think Todd was right not to care for this man? Let us know in the comments down below. And keep coming back for more on Chrisley Knows Best. Allie Johnson loves reality TV. She can't believe she was able to find a job writing about it. Allie has been doing this for 2 years. Lindsie Chrisley has rude awakening with ex amid Todd's guilty verdict in the world of reality TV. The Chrisley family has been an open book, their lives on full display for the world to watch. But when it comes to family drama, legal battles, and personal upheavals, no one could have predicted the dramatic twists and turns the Chrisley family saga would take. Lindsie Chrisley, the eldest daughter of Todd and Julie Chrisley, has had her fair share of public challenges, but nothing quite prepared her for the rude awakening she faced with her ex-husband amid her father's guilty verdict. The rise of the Chrisley stow. Understand the shock of Lindsie's situation. It's important to grasp the rapid rise and eventual fall of the Chrisley family. The patriarch of the family, Todd Chrisley, became a well-known figure thanks to the reality TV show Chrisley Knows Best. The show documented the extravagant lifestyle of Todd, a wealthy businessman with a penchant for luxurious living, as well as his wife Julie and their 5 children. The family was portrayed as a larger-than-life unit, full of humor, love, and, of course, the occasional over-the-top drama. Lindsie Chrisley, Todd's eldest daughter from a previous marriage, quickly became a central figure on the show. However, her presence was often a contrast to the more bombastic personalities of her father and stepmother. Lindsie was known for being more reserved and private about her personal life, a sharp contrast to the family's public antics. Her life on television and the subsequent challenges she faced behind the scenes painted a picture of someone attempting to forge her own identity in a family constantly under the media's watchful eye. The divorce from Will Campbell before the legal turmoil surrounding her father, Lindsie was already dealing with personal battles of her own. She had been married to Will Campbell since 2012, but their relationship faced strains, leading to their eventual separation in 2021. The split was far from easy, especially as it played out in the public eye. Lindsie, who had kept her marriage relatively private, into the spotlight as details of her personal life emerged. The couple's separation was followed by a brief reconciliation before Lindsie ultimately filed for divorce, marking the end of a tumultuous chapter in her life. But what made Lindsie's situation even more complex was the fact that her family's drama had a ripple effect on her relationships, especially with her ex-husband. Will Campbell, once a relatively unknown figure, became embroiled in the drama of the Chrisley family. Todd Chrisley's legal woes real storm hit in 2022, when Todd and his wife Julie Chrisley were hit with federal charges of tax evasion, wire fraud, and conspiracy. These charges stemmed from accusations that the Chrisleys had engaged in a years-long scheme to defraud banks and the IRS of millions of dollars. The charges shook the family, particularly Lindsie, who had already been dealing with her own personal and family issues. Despite her distance from her father's business dealings, Lindsie found herself in the midst of the controversy. The media's constant attention on her family meant that she couldn't escape the consequences of their actions, and this only added to the emotional toll she was experiencing. As the case unfolded in court, the public pressure on Lindsie mounted. And then, in late 2022, the unthinkable happened. Todd Chrisley was found guilty on multiple charges. This guilty verdict hit Lindsie particularly hard. While she had distanced herself from her father's financial dealings, the verdict marked a stark reality that her family's future was going to be forever changed. Todd faced a lengthy sentence, which would not only affect him but his entire family. Lindsie, who had already been facing her own personal turmoil, was now left to grapple with the fallout from her father's legal issues. The rude awakening. The ex-husband factor in the midst of this. Lindsie's personal life took another unexpected turn. The end of her marriage to Will Campbell had already been challenging enough, but now, with her father's conviction hanging over her head, her ex-husband became an even more central figure in her life. As Lindsie navigated the emotional roller coaster of her father's sentencing, she found herself in an awkward situation with Will. The two had already gone through their share of ups and downs, but as the legal drama unfolded, Lindsie began to rely more on Will, despite their separation. It was a dynamic that was unexpected, considering their publicized split. However, sometimes, in the face of immense personal challenges, people find themselves turning to those who were once closest to them, even if it's just for temporary solace. But that's when the rude awakening happened. Lindsie quickly realized that Will's involvement in the family's saga wasn't just limited to their past relationship. He had his own opinions about the situation, and his feelings toward the Chrisley family were far from neutral. His stance on Todd's legal issues, along with the media circus surrounding the family, created tensions between him and Lindsie. What had once been a relationship based on love and mutual respect began to feel more like a forced alliance. In the wake of Todd's conviction, Lindsie was left to confront the reality of her situation. She wasn't just battling the emotional fallout of her father's criminal activities, but also trying to make sense of her relationship with Will. The two had a history, and that history was fraught with complexities. But now, as the public spotlight intensified, Lindsie found herself questioning whether reconciling with her ex-husband was even possible, especially when they were each dealing with their own emotional baggage. The strain of public life living under the public eye can make even the most ordinary of situations seem complicated. For Lindsie, being a part of the Chrisley family meant that her personal life was constantly under scrutiny, whether it was her marriage to Will Campbell, her relationship with her father, or her ability to handle the fallout for the criminal charges. Lindsie found herself at the mercy of public opinion. When her father was convicted, the media attention only escalated, and Lindsie had to deal with the added stress of managing her public image while also coming to terms with her father's actions. The legal charges were not just a family issue but a national scandal, and the impact on Lindsie was unavoidable. The rude awakening wasn't just about her ex-husband. It was about the overwhelming sense of being trapped in a family drama she hadn't chosen, with nowhere to hide. The new chapter. The aftermath of Todd Chrisley's guilty verdict forced Lindsie to reassess many aspects of her life. She had already made a name for herself outside of the Chrisley family empire, taking steps toward building her own brand and identity. However, the collapse of her family's empire was not something she could easily escape. While Lindsay's relationship with her ex-husband